If you've driven on Highway 17, you've gone underneath this sign. But have you ever wondered what exactly it was for? Well, us here at the Lost Parks of Northern California want to let you open one of your Christmas gifts early. And boy, let me tell you, it's a doozy. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, everyone. Welcome back to Santa's Village. Hello everybody and welcome to the Lost Parks of Northern California. My name is Kris Rowberry, and you know, Andy Williams once sang, "It's the most wonderful time of the year." Of course he was referencing Christmas, but what if you could celebrate Christmas year-round? No, it's not an episode of King of the Hill. You really could celebrate Christmas year-round right here in Scotts Valley at Santa's Village. Our story begins on June 13th, 1956. That's when H. Glenn Holland of the Holland Corporation signed a lease for 25 acres of the Law Ridge Farm in Scotts Valley. Holland grew up during the Great Depression, and in addition, he'd lost both his parents by the time he was 18, so he never really had a great holiday season to look forward to. That's where the idea for Santa's Village came, so he decided to give not only his kids, but kids of all ages the opportunity to have the holiday season that he never got to have. Struck with inspiration, he began to sketch out his idea of a Christmas fairyland with all the magic would come to life right before his eyes. Within a few weeks, he had become the head of the Santa's Village Corporation. It is rumored that for a time, Holland was corresponding with Walt Disney on his idea for a park. Of course, Walt was busy on his own little project in the orange groves of Anaheim at the time. Holland was also very good friends with Dick and Mac McDonald, who were very interested in telling him how they were franchising their restaurant through Ray Kroc and expanding their hamburger empire. Holland was so enthused with the idea that he decided he was going to do the same thing with Santa's Village. Thus, the first franchise theme park chain was born. With the success of his first Santa's Village, now under his belt at Lake Arrowhead in Southern California, Holland was ready to expand his holiday empire. Construction on the Scotts Valley Park, which used to be behind us right here, took 9 months and cost $1 million to build back in the day. If you count inflation, it's about $8.3 million today. And that's certainly no small sum for a small amusement park like this. When the park opened on May 30th, 1957, Santa's Village became the first theme park chain in history, much to the delight of the huge crowds in attendance. With the initial success of 2 themed villages, Holland would go on to develop a third Santa's Village in Dundee, Illinois, which still operates today as Santa's Village Amusement Park. And the theming at the park didn't stop at just the buildings and rides. Oh no! Guests were entertained by gnomes and elves in addition to Santa and Mrs. Claus. There was a baby petting zoo filled with goats, sheep, rabbits, ducks, deer, and a Mexican burro. 4 reindeer, yes, you heard right, actual reindeer brought in from Alaska pulled Santa's sleigh. You can't get much more authentic than that. And coaster fans, unfortunately you missed out on an awesome credit. A bobsled themed coaster from the Alan Herschel Company used to grace this property. It was complete with rocky outcroppings to hide the supports. Other notable attractions included a whirling Christmas tree, miniature train, spinning snowballs, giant Jack-in-the-Box, an Alice in Wonderland maze, Santa's enormous boot, brightly painted cement mushrooms, and a Queen of Hearts figure, all part of Fairy Tale Land.
Well, Santa's Village was the most interactive of the parks, even of the larger parks, because the rides were things that you could actually operate yourself. For example, the tractors didn't have a rail that would guide you. You actually had to drive the tractor. And the railroad carts that you could crank with your hands is another example of the interactiveness. And that was more fun for me than just being sort of a passive passenger on some sort of ride.
One of the coolest things about it is, it was my first job, and I lived at home. I drove my own car. My parents paid for the gas, and I got to go to this magical world. For me, coming in the morning, there was often fog, and I would walk through the fog following my nose to the gingerbread house, where I had to have warm gingerbread with whipped cream on it.
Well, I remember it was surreal. I mean, it was Christmas in July and June and March. It was fun, and we went often because we lived so close by. I remember the Witch's Bakery. They had these incredibly large, fat gingerbread men. I'll miss those gingerbread men. The thing I will miss most about Santa's Village are the gingerbread men. They were big. I've never seen a gingerbread man like them. I mean, in any bakery. They were big, they were really thick, they were really soft. They were perfect. They were the most perfect gingerbread men I'd ever had.
Well, probably the railroad carts that you hand crank, because I really enjoyed them when I was a little kid, and I came back as kind of a big kid when I was about 12. And I was really too big for these things, and I derailed it. And I think the operator was kind of disgusted with me, but I had such a good time anyway, and I just picked up the cart and put it back on the rails and kept cranking. And she said, "Yeah, see, you're too big for this ride." And I don't care, I just love it. It doesn't matter.
Mrs. Claus had her own confectionery kitchen, which was right back here, and served all sorts of holiday treats, including gingerbread men and cinnamon rolls. They even had steak sandwiches for lunch. Now that's not your average theme park fare. The park also included characters from children's stories, including the Easter Bunny, Little Bo Peep, and the Good Witch, who wandered throughout the park. It was the quintessential theme park.
I just remember getting inside the place and feeling, the sense that you'd been removed from, the ordinary day-to-day life. Much like I think people feel with a lot of theme parks, particularly Disneyland, it almost had that kind of a sense of once you got in there, you're almost off the planet in another world, It had that feel for it.
Hi, my name is Marie Berry, and I created the Santa's Village Memories, Scotts Valley, California Facebook group. Well, the first time I went to Santa's Village, I was about 3.5, and I have a small photo of that. And I remember the burro rides, the carousel, and sitting atop the beloved mushroom. Well, I loved the mushrooms. That was really just something phenomenal that was unusual, and as a child it was really intriguing. I loved the giant slide that they had there, and I also loved to ride the burros and go on the rides in the park. We have nearly 2,000 members in the Facebook group, so it's growing by leaps and bounds every day. Well, for me, it keeps local history alive, and that's very important to me because growing up here in Silicon Valley, a lot has changed through the years. And these memories that we have from when we were children that are no longer there, we're able to share those with our own children and generations to come. So I think it's really important for people to connect, post their pictures and videos. By the way, we probably have more pictures and videos than anywhere else you'll find on the internet for Santa's Village in Scotts Valley. So it's really a unique group. They can find it by searching Santa's Village Memories, Scotts Valley, California in the Facebook search page, and just request to join it and I'll let them in.
And they had a policy that during the last half hour of being open, if the park was really quiet or we had hardly any visitors, then the employees could ride the rides for free. And so one of the guys who worked there dressed up like a scarecrow with a big pumpkin head, and he was called Mr. Pumpkinhead. So he and I got into the snowball ride to take it for a spin, and it was one of those rides where it has a wheel in the middle that you could turn the wheel and spin the cup really fast. So we both got on the wheel and we were spinning it really, really fast. Suddenly I heard him screaming and yelling at the ride operator to stop the ride. And it turns out he was getting nauseous. So the ride operator stopped the ride and he got out and he had to run to the nearest restroom, which was probably 150 feet away easily, because we were on one end of the park. And he managed, I mean, in this big shoes and scarecrow outfit, he managed to get to the men's room and got that big fiberglass head off before he threw up. And I'm really glad that he did, because if he had thrown up in that pumpkin head, I don't think employees would have been allowed to ride the rides anymore after that.
10 years after opening this Santa's Village, Holland offered the entire corporation up for sale. You see, the third Santa's Village park, he didn't take into consideration the fact that it would have a shorter season due to the freezing cold temperatures in Dundee, Illinois. It was sold to a Santa Clara real estate developer with the idea of bringing a Knott's Berry Farm type theme park here to Scotts Valley. However, the final blow for Santa's Village came from above, via Mother Nature. During the park's peak season in November and December, it poured mercilessly during the winter of 1978, and attendance, of course, slumped in the process. Santa's Village closed forever in January of 1979. Holy cow. So this would have been the candy kitchen and potentially the reindeer barn, actually. You can see where they would have had their food and their hay. Again, just a lot of open stuff, nothing really that can link it to Santa's Village, but this was part of the park at one time. Oh my God. Would you look at that? They're all, they're Santa's Villages. Holy crap, they are actually pieces of Santa's Village. Would you look at that? Since 1979, there's still pieces of Santa's Village. Look at this. Look at this. That is amazing. After all these years, it's still here. Oh, this has got a map. It must have been an admission ticket at one time. Admission was 90 cents for adults. God, that's the tax on a park ticket these days isn't even that little. Oh, this is great. And it's been sitting here since 1979. Exposed to the elements, exposed to the rats, obviously, and they're still here. This is awesome. My God, the rats must have brought them up here when they were nesting. So the rats are using this as nesting material. Remind me to wash my hands after this. Oh, this is great. Wow, this is absolutely incredible. Absolutely amazing. Let's see what else this place has. Okay, so this would be on our way then probably to the candy kitchen. And here is said kitchen. Wow, look at that. Obviously you have the fireplace where that would all start to be cooked, where the gingerbread, where everyone talked about those gingerbread men, would have been made right in here. There's the fireplace that used to be there, still intact, amazingly. Wow. But again, just a lot of graffiti. I'm just gonna go in here real quick. Wow. It's humbling, actually. It really is. This used to be a place of childhood memories and just fanciful fairy tale stories, and definitely not anymore. More of urban decay. If there was ever a doubt that this wasn't a part of Santa's Village, the door should tell you everything you need to know.
When the park closed, I was really saddened because it was just such a wonderful place. Every time we would go over the hill to Santa Cruz, we would always know exactly every curve as when Santa's Village was going to appear. So it was just something that was in my memories, and I wanted to share that with my own kids.
Oh, disappointed, and that I would never be able to bring my children to Santa's Village, and that there, small parks like Santa's Village were sort of disappearing, and it was part of my childhood and something I wouldn't be able to share with future generations.
The end of an era, As far as the park closing, it closed long after I'd outgrown it, and I hadn't been there in years. And it kind of felt like a sign of the times, you know, because it was definitely a park that was evocative of a more innocent time.
It just felt like this magical era was coming to an end, and I mean, you entered into a whole different world when you were there. In the trees, the incredible redwood trees, and walking through the woods to go to work, and the sound of the train, you know, the whistle, and I just thought, what is going to happen to that incredible place, that magical place that had so many memories for so many people.
But just because the park closed over 30 years ago doesn't mean you still can't experience a small piece of it around today. You just have to know where to look. You can come here to McDorsa Park, which is on the other side of Highway 17 from the park site, where under this oak tree you'll find 2 of the original mushrooms from the park. As for this grizzly bear, well, we'll come back to him in a later episode. But if you're looking for the authentic Santa's Village experience, just come up here off of Highway 88 to Sorensen's all-season resort. That's where you'll find 2 of the original buildings from Santa's Village transplanted here and converted into cabins that you can stay overnight. That's pretty awesome.
Well, I'm the innkeeper, which involves everything from maintenance issues to serving meals to taking phone reservations and explaining the history of certain things. We wandered through here on our honeymoon 33 years ago to find this dilapidated group of cabins. It's been a pretty special ride for those 33 years. Well, we were inspired by a professor emeritus from UC Santa Cruz, Melanie Mayer, who had already secured one of the cabins. And she told us that there were several available and that Borland, who owned the property at that time, had no home for those cabins. There were no nonprofits interested in securing those. So we went down and took a look at them and thought they would probably fit into this eclectic collection. Well, they're most intact. Santa's home at Santa's Village was the most obvious with the most charm. So that was one we selected. And then what was called Sheepherders Chapel was a smaller cabin there and also fairly well intact, albeit they had suffered 15 years of vandalism and, you know, a variety of words not to be spoken here sprayed across them. And then the Elves Workshop, which we still have yet to construct. The only connection is that it seemed to be a charming thing to do, and we're into historic preservation. We've been members of the National Historic Preservation out of Washington, D.C. for probably 30 years. So, you know, as you may recall, I said earlier, we've been involved in community organizing in Santa Cruz from the middle 70s, where we had an opportunity to create the Land Trust of Santa Cruz and then eventually the Community Foundation. And so our sense of community goes beyond our skin.
Have any of the former employees or the elves from Santa's Village actually come through here just because the cabins were here?
Quite a few, and actually one of them was an employee of ours.
Really?
Who repainted and restructured the mushroom. She was an elf back in the days, although she was an elf at the Los Angeles version of Santa's Village. So she still comes. She's bringing her wreath making class in a couple of weeks. So she's an elf of, we won't say how many rings around her tree, but she was there in the 50s. But no, we've had quite a few. I would say upwards of the thousands.
Nice things happen when you believe. You believe when you see Santa's village. Come on, follow me through the trees. Santa's village. La 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 Come on with me through the trees. Come on with me and you'll believe. Santa's village. I believe.
I believe.
Santa's village.
There you have it, the world's first franchise theme park right here in the Santa Cruz Mountains. Join us next time as we look for another lost amusement park here in Northern California and reclaim our amusement heritage. Have a safe and happy holiday season, everyone. My name is Kris Rowberry. We'll see you next time. Oh, I really hope Santa doesn't give us coal for Christmas. So yeah, we've gone from our last episode, which was water parks and swimsuits, to, well, we call it the white stuff. Oh God, that's cold. Oh man. The shorts may have been a mistake. Sheep, bunnies, ducks, deer, and a Mexican burrito. 4 reindeer burrito. Doctor, it's a boy. That's why. That was a silly question, wasn't it? You know, I can't help but wonder, it feels like there's a fungus among us. I can't put my finger on it. This is awesome.